All right, and with that, we are live. Welcome everybody in the chat room to the Work After Hours live chat. This is chat number 35, believe it or not, which is saying a lot considering we do this every other week.
Yeah.
So, hello everybody to the chat room. We've got, let's see, we got Kathleen in there, Locke's in there, Professor is in there. I think I saw Manny Things up there as well. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all having a good night. Harry's Holster is in the house. So with us tonight, we've got Builder Shooter.
Hi, guys.
And the crunching over there, that is the Humble Marksman.
You guys are going to be so amazed at this light that I'm working at unpackaging, so this crunching is for you. I just want you to know that.
Oh, fantastic. As always, we appreciate that. So first things first, let's get into it a little bit. We've got a couple of little news things. There's a news item and then a gun release, and that's about all I've got as far as plans for tonight goes. So first up, the news release. This is something that Builder Shooter just sent us, and it was just announced very shortly ago. NRAM has now been canceled.
Lame.
Yeah, I am a little bit on the...
They're busy fighting for our gun rights. That's why.
It's what?
They're busy fighting for our gun rights. That's why.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting the coronavirus for our gun rights.
Yeah, that's what it is. We'll go with that.
So yeah, NRAM is being canceled, which means nothing to probably the majority of people watching this. But it's a big bummer to me. I was really looking forward to going.
Me too.
Despite the 5-hour drive, it was really... I don't know. It's about as close to an industry event as I get to go to. So, and I was gonna get to meet Humble Marksman. I was gonna get to meet Harry. It was gonna be a good time, and now it's not.
Then everything got canceled.
Yep.
Have they canceled school for your kids already?
They have not, but they are extending spring break locally.
Yeah, they extended our spring break too. That's what I meant by canceling.
Well,
my buddy's kids in preschool, and they just took 2 weeks off.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I would assume they'll probably start doing that pretty soon here with our preschool. Our colleges up here are canceling, or they're either extending spring breaks or going to e-learning. So all of the class. So I teach a college class, and I've got to figure out how to make that an online class now. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. But honestly, that makes me significantly less upset than canceling the NRA annual meeting. As much as I hate the NRA, I guess here's the bright side to this. Because there is a bright side. I have not yet actually renewed my membership to the NRA to be able to go, because I don't have a lifetime membership. I pay a year when I can go. It's basically an entry fee to get to go to NRAM, and because of that, I will not be renewing this year, and I will not be giving that shady ass organization my money. So there's the bright side. Humble, do you want to just shift your plane tickets and you can come up here to Indy and hang out with us for a day?
You know what? I'll check into that. I'll see what we can do. I'm not sure that they'll let me do it. I've already got the time off.
By that time, they'll probably cancel all of the plane flights anyway.
I can show you how to shoot moderately slow.
Right.
That's what we need.
About the only thing he would get to look forward to is trashing us in person.
Yeah. Whoa, Humble.
Man,
you're going too fast.
Slow
it down.
So it's not just camera tricks that makes you guys suck?
Yeah, we slow down our videos. Everybody else speeds them up.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
it was at Lucas Botkin School.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan says that's the only valid reason to buy a membership. 100% agree. I mean, after all of the latest gun grabber stuff, you have not heard shit from the NRA. So
I've even heard, I know I haven't seen it because I'm a scaredy cat and I don't like horror movies.
Yeah.
But A Quiet Place 2 has been postponed. The release of it has, yeah.
There's a lot of them that have been. Quiet Place 2, Mulan, the new 007 movie got pushed back because of it.
It's kind of funny that Mulan got postponed.
Yeah, I know. It's ironic. Professor, we are going to get to the new CZ release here in just a couple of minutes. So stick with us.
Oh, that was the new release. This is
Yeah.
my excited face. It's really exciting.
I know. Well, and there's even icing on the cake for it too. So let's go ahead and jump to that. Well, really quick, Jeremy Bryan says, "How will we see all the new stuff with no NRAM? You have to buy it. That's pretty much what it comes down to."
Dang it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm still reading here. Are you members of Indiana Gun Owners, or is it worth it? Indiana Gun Owners is I'm a member on the forum. Ingo is one of the largest gun forums, like non-specific type of gun forums in America, but I don't think that's what he's talking about. I guess there's an organization, but I'm not a part of that one. Jordan says, ironically, delaying the release means less people will see it. I don't know. It may. We'll see, I guess. I'm a little frustrated about them delaying James Bond because I'm really nervous about where they're getting ready to take the Bond franchise. I'm a big Bond fan. I freaking love James Bond, and I'm mad as to where it sounds like they're going to take the character. So now I just have to wait longer and be anxious about it even more. So, okay. Yeah, Locke says he was a member of Ingo back when he lived in Indiana. Guess he still is, but doesn't do forums anymore. Nobody does forums anymore compared to what it was like 10 years ago. Do you guys remember the heyday of forums?
Oh yeah, no.
I missed that.
Brian Ito's forum was my my jam for a long time, and I'm still a member there, but it's pretty dead there now.
I was the administrator of a local car forum because that was back in the days when I could had time for and money for cars.
What's time?
And right? And
is that the thing you have when you sleep? When you skip sleep?
Yeah, that's the thing that I skip sleep to use. But yeah, it's once Facebook came out and started their groups thing, it just killed it. Absolutely killed it. So, okay, so let's go ahead.
Another Bond film until Agent 007 is the disabled trans woman of color.
I have a feeling that might be coming up here in just a few short months.
Hey,
Humble might have been alive for one good Bond film. Hey,
GoldenEye was a good film.
It was. GoldenEye was awesome.
And what was that other one? The first Daniel Craig one.
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale was good too.
And everybody loves Skyfall. I am not. I like
Skyfall a lot. I haven't seen Casino Royale though.
My problem is I like
Casino Royale is better.
It is significantly
better.
I like James Bond movies where James Bond is James Bond with the backing of the MI6 doing his full-on spy crap. It's so much lately they've been doing this man on his own, away from doing the
they started that with
going against the thing. Yeah, they did in the last ones of his. Well, and technically License to Kill was that same way, but License to Kill was the first one that they did that in. So it was somewhat unique back then, and that was before all the Mission Impossible stuff went that direction. And
one of my favorite ones that came out, and it's just because I remember it coming out brand new. Yeah, I think that's why, because I don't think it's
Don't Say Tomorrow Never
Dies. But it was
Don't Say Tomorrow Never Dies.
Huh?
I said Don't Say Tomorrow Never Dies.
Die Another Day.
Oh,
after that.
Is that wait? Die Another Day was the one with Halle Berry. Yeah.
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 Tomorrow Never Dies was a terrible excuse for a Bond movie.
Tomorrow Never Dies was with
Denise Richards.
That's her, yeah, Denise Richards. And
I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Yeah. That
All
was
right, moving on.
Anyway, so Jay Stu says he ran his first club match last night. P10F did great, score's not out yet. Man, you guys score really slow. Our scores are usually out in about an hour and a half.
They didn't used to be, though.
That's true. When back in the well, even my first year in, it took about 6 hours. Our guys just
my first year in, it took 2 days.
Had some troubles remembering the course of fire, though. Multiple targets on certain order. Any tips?
Stage planning.
Yeah. That was what I focused on a lot last year, and you guys would not believe the increase in my scores just based on stage planning.
world of difference. That's one of the reasons I really liked starting in production class, because you had to plan out your reloads, you had to count your rounds and figure out where you were going.
If you're shooting any division well, you have to do all that stuff.
Yep.
If you're not doing it in limited or carry optics, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true.
I just started in production. I thought it was fun.
I started in production because I was cheap, and 9mm was what I wanted to shoot.
Yeah, I started in production because that's the only gun I had. No, I did limited once. I did limited.
You did limited the first time with your 19.
Yep.
As you should. You should shoot limited.
Yeah.
I'm shooting limited this year.
Even for your purposes, I think a 9mm 2011 or equivalent is going to be fine for you, because you're not going to probably shoot past a club match anyway.
No.
Correct.
And if you get giggles, then send Ken Nelson $10 for the Practice Score Competitor app and change your score to major just to see what could have been. And when that bugs you too much, then you can open up your wallet and get a real 2011.
He's planning on laughing at all of the flexors for running with them with a sub $1,000 gun. That's what he's planning on.
I'm going to run this sub $1,000 gun until I save up to get a Bull Armory 2011.
Don't look past a Honcho either. Honchos, they're pretty strong value offerings as well, but they're still, I mean, they're like a limited one would be like $3,000.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Bull Armory is actually surprisingly inexpensive, and it's a true 2011.
Is it? It has a detachable grip, but I don't know that it is a true 2011.
What's it called?
I don't think the bull frames fit on, or rather the bull. Yeah, bull frames can only accept bull grips. I think standard 2011 grips don't work.
Maybe. I haven't looked into it that much. It had a plastic grip on the bottom. So I assume.
Yeah. I mean, it's a two-piece module similar to 2011, but I think there's some magic that keeps it from being a true 2011, because the Bull Armory, like, you can't take a Phoenix Trinity grip and get it to fit a Bull. You have to use the Bull grip module. So,
Humble, I think you just got a video request. Stage planning and memorization video. You're muted.
Yeah, I know. I have a kid who's wandering downstairs. I'm being courteous, not interrupting. That's honestly, stage planning is something that my patrons hit me up about, or rather, I tell them they need to work on a lot in practice. Yep. And you can practice it. Just set up a dry fire array and don't shoot the same thing twice. Remember some crazy pattern that doesn't make any sense, and then force yourself to dry fire it, but only do it once. And each time, take the time to visualize it before doing a rep. So each rep should take about 20 to 30 seconds of preparation for like 10 seconds or less of an actual stage, just like a real stage. So I would definitely encourage you to do that if you're not doing that.
With stage prep, I don't know why this last year I didn't have. Our new guy plans some pretty good stages. I think they're pretty good, and for some reason it just kind of clicked with me this year. Last year I had a lot of problems. I think it's because stage planning can come a lot more naturally when you can shoot the gun better naturally, when you're focusing less on trying to count or trying to mitigate recoil or making sure that you get snappy transitions. When you've got all of that stuff a little more down is when the stage planning it just becomes a little bit easier, because you can focus on the plan and not the shooting so much.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. The more the skills are ingrained and you don't have to think about them, the more of them you're going to get when you don't have to think about them.
Yeah, because I know that when I first, my first couple of times out, I was so nervous about running the gun, trying to get those, really close shot, or like the center mass really tight together group shots. And that's what I was concerned about the first time out. That and the 180 rule, not DQing, which is still my top priority, is not DQing. But
it'll happen if it hasn't yet.
I know. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I took care of that on my dad's first match.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Your dad?
No, I'd been shooting USPSA for a year, and I finally talked my dad into going. And on the second stage of 6, I DQ'd. And he's like, "Do you want to go home?" And I was like, "No, you're still in. Like, you can still do this. I'll just keep score."
Yeah. Professor says you will do 100% better if you don't DQ. That is 100% true. So J2 says it was an outlaw match. He shot carry optics. He can shoot the course of fire, threw me off. I would have planned to get to the shooter ready, then go blank. Yeah, it's you really like. For me, I run through the course a few times. Hey, Loudner's here. How's it going, man? I run through the course of fire like what I plan on doing 3 or 4 times before I actually run the match. And then I'm thinking about it as all of the other guys are going. Humble, what do you usually do?
I'll use as much time as they let me to stay in the shooting area. I am always the last person out of the shooting area memorizing a stage. Guy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely I am. And then when I stop doing my visualization walkthroughs, depending on how far down in the order I am, I'll either, socialize and help reset.
Yep.
Or I will, get ready to shoot. And when I'm about 4 shooters down, I stop helping reset. Or that fourth one, it'll be a very half-hearted effort. I'll go patch like a target and come back up, say that I patched. And then I'll start doing my visualizations of the stage. So I have some little cue that I'll do when I get to that point. So for me, what that is I take the optic cover off my gun. I apply Pro Grip on my hands. If it's really sunny outside, I'm wearing my ridiculous beekeeper's hat, then I'll take that off and put on a ball cap that I actually shoot in. And then I'll just sit there and I will visualize the stage over and over and over again. And I mean, I'm talking as fine a detail as I can be bothered to do. So it's going to be like if you're standing outside the box to step in, it's like I'm going to step in with my right leg. The gun's going to come up. And as my left leg settles, the sight's going to settle and I'll break that shot. I'm going to drive to this partial target and I'm going to hold on the upper perf. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go to this. I'm going to break one shot, and then I'm going to start shifting my weight out of position. So when the second shot breaks, I'm already moving. I'm going to run hard. I'm going to pump my arm once with the gun real fast to get my weight moving in the direction I'm going to be moving to. When I get to about this point, I'm going to sit down real low and start doing the stutter steps to bleed off speed. Gun's going to be coming up at that point, and as soon as, if it's an easy target, then I can just hold it in front of the target and blast it, or wait for the dot to settle. But I mean, so on and so forth through the whole stage. And that's a lot of words for effectively 2 positions. And there aren't words involved when they're actually visualizing it. Mm-hmm. But that's the level of detail you kind of have to carry it to. And you have to do it over and over and over and over again. As many times as you can when you're about 3 shooters down until you come to the line. And when you come to the line, stop thinking about what you're supposed to be doing and just do the things that are supposed to be getting your gun ready to shoot. So if you're allowed to take sight pictures, maybe that's bringing it up, pointing at the hardest target that you can see visible to you and taking a couple dry fire shots at it, knowing that you can hit it, your trigger pull is dialed in, your grip feels good on the gun, seating the mag, charging it, putting it in the holster, and doing one final run through of the video that you want to see. And then put your hand in whatever the start position is and go to town. So it is a process, and you have to work through the process. You can't just. The problem is if you don't do it, you can go up there and you're going to consciously think your way through the whole stage. And what that looks like is like, okay, you're going to over aim, and then you're going to break 2 shots on about a half to 3/4 second split, and then you're going to transition, and then you're going to wait after the dot gets to the target for a solid, 1/4 of a second because you're waiting for it because you're aiming actively, and you're going to wait for it to stabilize, and you're going to break the shot, and you're going to shoot another 3/4 second split, and it's just going to be so on and so forth. Whereas if you actually know what you can do and what it's supposed to look like, you'll just do it. And then when something goes wrong, like if you miss or whatever, you can actually see it and then adjust what you need to do, and your conscious brain can work on the problem solving while the video plays in the background. So a good example of that is in my most recent match video with the stupid baby Glock. on the stage with the activator sequence, I knew I had thrown too many shots at an array, and that if I fired one more shot, I was going to run out of ammo in the next position and have to do a standing reload. So even though I didn't make the hit on the target, I stepped out of position and finished the stage with an okay-ish time despite leaving a mic standing. But it would have been a lot worse if I hadn't recognized I was running out of rounds and needed to move on. So you can not prep, and people can say, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. But, I mean, if you want to be slow and finish at the bottom of the pack, then don't prepare to shoot. If you want to do well, prepare to shoot.
We have a hard time with our matches, or at least it seems like the squads we get, which are different people every time. I wouldn't mind
exactly where you're going.
Like we have a couple guys that are good shooters, and you'll have a few really good shooters in every squad, and they do what Humble's describing. But then you have we have squads of 12 typically, and we'll have 4 guys that don't pace, not because they're thinking about the stage or whatever. They're sitting in the back talking.
Yep.
It's like, why are you even here? We're pasting your targets. You should paste everybody else's targets. And so it makes people that want to do what Humble does harder, because that's one less person pasting, even though he's being proactive about what he's, you're there to shoot USPSA. You're there to score the best you possibly can. You're there to do all this stuff. You're not going to not talk to people, but you're not going to skip pasting so you can stand in the back and BS. And we have a pretty big problem with that at our one match a year, or one match a month that we go to.
You're right. Yeah, it's just the club that we go to is kind of an old boy club. Like, so we get a lot of people who are there to just kind of be there and hang out. And I mean, it's a game. You got to play the game, but the game is less fun when you've got some people who aren't putting in the work to support the game. Makes it really hard to do what Humble's talking about. Like, I won't paste the shooter before me. Absolutely will not. I won't.
You shouldn't do it. As soon as you're in the hole, you should not be working. You
right. Exactly. And there's a lot of the times when that ends up taking longer because you've got the 3 guys in the back who are just standing there babbling. And then you've got everybody else who's normally pacing. And then I'm, the one guy who's trying to get ready isn't. And it's just a whole pain in the butt. You feel pressured to pace to get things moving. But
I end up not pacing the one before me and the one after me, because I am the one before me I'm getting ready to shoot, and the one after me I'm reloading my mags.
Yeah, I do reload immediately.
Paste everybody else's targets.
Yep. Yeah, and I always I don't take quite as long as Humble, and it's merely because I'm not nearly as good at this as Humble is. I can't visualize myself walking through it that much. I get just enough of my plan down to know exactly what I'm going to do. And I'll just go through that. But I don't get into the finer details like Humble does. He's just that good. Yeah. I mean, that's what you've got to do to be at the, master level of things. And I'm not there.
If you don't want to shoot 1 second splits on partial targets at 15 yards, you have to know where your dot is going to be held on the target. Because with dot, you can get that hit, but it's just a matter of doing it. So, doing the transition quickly onto the target and then letting it stabilize just enough to break the shot. Let it come down from recoil, stabilize just enough to break the next shot, and you'll generally get good hits. If you don't have that level of accuracy and you're having to refine your hold as you swing onto the target, and then again after the recoil arc's done, it's just going to take forever. So, especially on open targets, it's less important, but I think it's still important because if you give up points on open targets in a minor division, you're going to get crushed.
Right.
Kind of a rule of thumb is don't give up Charlies on open targets. If you're going to give up Charlies, do them on really distant or partial targets. That's pretty much what you have to do.
So Harry's got an interesting one here. He says, I listened to an interesting podcast on what guns to use for self-defense due to politics of an area. Would you rock a pure open gun for self-defense if you lived in an area like that? So if you lived in... Grief. Yeah. I mean, no, because I prefer concealment, and you can't really conceal a pure open gun.
I understand his point. I mean, speaking to his point, like practically, yeah, it's there's no way you're going to conceal a 10-inch long hog leg with a 5-inch compensator or whatever. It's just not going to happen. But the most effective deal for the area, maybe. I mean,
well, and
I think your wardrobe is going to dictate what you ultimately get to carry more than what the most effective.
The biggest gun you can carry is what I've always heard. As dumb as that sounds, as fuddy as that sounds.
No, it's true. The biggest gun you can carry and that shoots the most accurately. I mean, there's no point in carrying a Desert Eagle. Those are not. But this goes kind of back to the what's the best gun for it, and you hear a lot when you start talking about modifications on guns, whether it's dots, triggers, anything like that. You hear about the guys talking about how the majority of confrontations are 5 rounds and 5 yards. And yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. The majority of confrontations are 5 rounds, 5 yards. But every once in a while, you got that 20-yard headshot that you got to take, which is just as likely if you get into a gunfight. It's the same percentage of getting into a gunfight as it would be of you having the opportunity to get in a gunfight anyway. So, I mean, if I could get away with carrying an open gun, hell yeah, I would.
Yeah, I mean, just from a likability standpoint, like filming that Glock video, I got to mess with a couple people's open guns. I'm here to tell you right now, if I could afford to shoot open, I would shoot open. Like 100% would. It is awesome. Those guns are amazing. But my ammo cost would be 30 to 40% more, and my pistol cost would be $10,000 to $15,000. It's not going to happen for a while.
So I shot I gotta find the name of this gun, because this thing is. And one of the fun parts about being friends with the
I shot an Atlas Chaos in 9 Major, and that was about as fun. Like, since I didn't shoot them back to back, but the impression it left with me is it was no more difficult to shoot in 9 Major, the Chaos, than the SVI 38 Super Comp that I got to shoot. And the Chaos is a pretty nice gun. It's set up really well. He had the load dialed in perfectly for that gun too.
So, one of the benefits of being a friend of the range owner is you get to shoot his new toys when they come in. I shot a Rafferty Custom in 9 Major. Let's see, the frame was a KC Arms, barrel, slide, and grip were SVI, and this is all done, basically cleaned up and perfected by Rafferty Custom, and that was fun. That was a fun gun. In 9 Major, that thing recoiled as much, if not less, than the TAC Ultra. It was insane. I took 2 shots with about probably like a 0.4-ish, 0.3, 0.4-ish split. They weren't fast, but they weren't slow.
Did you say a Rafferty Custom gun?
Yes.
Those are nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I shot 2 shots in under half a second, and they were touching. And you guys know I'm not a great shot. And that's really good for me. So that was fun.
Harry has a good point here. He says, how many 9mm Majors did John Wick sell? And to that I counter, how many 9mm Major Googles were created Google searches were created after that? Because if you're not a competition shooter, you don't know what 9mm Major is.
That's true.
I looked it up just to see what power factor was.
You got a lot of people buying 9mm Major to put in their 9mm Luger guns.
Yeah,
like,
Glock 19.
Yeah. John Wick put this in a Glock. No, he didn't. Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading things. So yeah, for everybody who doesn't know, I can't hold the gun up, but I got a new gun, if you didn't see the video. And I'm excited. I got a Legion. And then today, this came in. This is a Gray Guns competition trigger. They're adjustable, I don't know what it's called on this one. It's their adjustable comp trigger. So Gray Guns was awesome and is working with me on that. So eventually that'll go in. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to try to run a match with the stock trigger and then put the Gray Guns trigger in, or if I want to just go ahead and put it in. What would you guys do? Run it once without it and run once win it to see what the difference is, or just stick it in there and go for broke?
You're not. Yeah, truthfully, I doubt you'll be able to tell the difference shooting it.
You
got a toy. Go ahead and put it in, man.
I will say this: the trigger in mine is significantly better than the trigger in the rental that we used for the Carry Optics shootout, which is actually the Legion that made me want a Legion. And this trigger is significantly better than that. That being said, it's still kind of squishy and it's got a longer reset. I did short stroke it once in the how many? I probably put about 75 to 100 rounds through it the other day. I just went out on a lunch break. So let's see. J Stu says X5, 2011 or Shadow 2. Choose one forever.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going to choose the X5. The 2011 is going to be finicky, and the Shadow 2 is going to break a trigger spring or a slide release. That's what I'm going to go with for now.
I'd say 2011.
Yep. Yeah? I don't know. Yeah. Everybody that I've talked to, they are finicky little beasts.
Yeah, because everyone sets them up on the edge of like making them as nice as they can be, so they break faster.
Yeah,
guys who have them set up well don't have those issues, but you have to actually clean them.
Yeah, I'd take a Workhorse 2011 over either one of those.
The reason I would say 2011 is because you're going to tear up that frame on that Legion on your reloads.
Yeah,
and then it's $250 for another piece of plastic to slap on the.
How much is a grip frame for a 2011?
Yeah, you use a magwell.
I guess you're going to use a magwell.
Steel. So you're just gouging steel, and if it gets too bad, you sand it down, or you can get one with an insert and swap it out. Or
I was going to say, don't they make like Teflon inserts or something?
That'd be awesome.
I tell you, I pulled that thing off, and I was like, oh, it doesn't look nearly as cool now.
It really doesn't.
No, I mean, I still like the way it looks, but the magwell just kind of completes it. Now it just looks like another P2 320. So
I can't wait till that big old freaking magwell comes for the Rock Island.
That project's going to be fun.
I'm going to be
You better
so
rock
limited
the shit out of that thing this year.
I got to get a red trigger for it.
So
Loudener, he answered your question with the Glock 34. Loudener is a guy who I shot up a batch or two with, and he's tried desperately to switch from Glock to whatever the new hotness was.
Yeah.
And I got to witness him disqualifying himself at a match with his Shadow 2 that he couldn't get to run. Seriously? And then more recently, he what did he do? He tried to run the new Walters hotness, and it wasn't working for him. So he's still shooting the Glock. So
that's the thing about the Glocks; they just work.
Yeah.
Neither of his Glocks look like yours in the magwell.
Yeah, because he doesn't
crap out of your magwells.
Yeah, mine are couch. I'd show you, but I'm not allowed to.
No. Hey, Builder. Many Things wants to know what magwell you're getting.
I was just typing it out. I was almost done.
Talk.
It's from a company called Taylor Freelance. There's surprisingly not that many parts available for Rock Islands, but Taylor Freelance has magwells and magazine extensions, and it's called their Fatty magazine extension. Or not magazine extension, excuse me, magwell. And it's big.
Yeah, and Taylor Freelance is awesome enough to be working with us on. So Builder is doing a project this year for his USPSA. We've got our TAC Ultra, and we have decided to keep the TAC Ultra. And Builder is going to rock the crap out of this TAC Ultra and make some of the guys with their like $3,000 and $4,000 STIs cry.
That's the goal. If I can make one of them cry, I'll be happy.
I just beat a bunch of 2011s with a Glock 43. They don't cry about it. They just
you're better than me, and you know it.
They make excuses. My mags. It's my mags. They're finicky. My mags.
I mean, you saw the video. I wasn't that fast. It just didn't make errors for the most part, and that was enough to beat most people.
Well, I'm gonna have to be fast because I still mess up all the time.
I was gonna say that's like telling somebody the way to do better is shoot better.
Yeah,
I just didn't mess up. Well, and that's less. you had to play the game very precisely, running that Glock, running your mini Glock in that thing. Like you could see you meticulously working through stage.
Reloading that thing sucked hard, dude. It was so hard to reload. It's a great gun to shoot, but holy crap, is it difficult to reload. It just, even Harry's like, man, your reloads suck. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's really hard.
It's half the size of the hole you're used to hitting.
Well, that, and it's like a single stack mag, so you don't even have that like nice taper. It's like, it's more of a, like, it's like reloading in 1911 without a mag well. It's just not a lot of fun. Was there a mag well in that project? I don't remember. No, nobody makes.
Okay. How does nobody make magwell for that?
This is a carry gun. It's supposed to be skinny.
Dude, there's magwells for everything.
I've seen a magwell for a shield, actually. Now that you say that.
It's just wrong, but see?
It looks kind of good, too.
Loudner says deflated 2011 egos makes him feel good inside. I agree. It's very fun to do that.
I always change in the practice score competitor match. App after a match, I'll change my class to open just to see how I would have finished among the open shooters.
Yeah,
just for fun.
Let's see. Manny Things wants to know when you're going to start crushing on PCC shooters. He already has. He was there. How many PCC shooters beat you this last time when you were under the block? How many PCC shooters placed above you?
One.
So one out of, how do you know how many there were?
Like 15.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. What are we looking at?
No, 1 out of 15.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
I can tell you, but it's not that. I mean, the whole point of the video was it doesn't really matter what the gun is as long as it's like reasonably good enough. Like we get hyper focused on gear, and to get the result that I got with itty bitty baby gun was like proof positive. I mean, basically those reloads added at least 2 seconds to each of my stages, and I still did okay. I mean, I was probably 30 seconds off the pace, and I'm usually like 10. So. Just get good. I mean,
so let's jump ahead or back a little bit, because if we don't do it now, we're gonna forget. So Locke's asking, what's up with the CZ news? So CZ has come out with a new P10, a new gun in the P10 line. It is the P10M or micro. It is a micro compact, basically a pocket pistol size P10 that holds 7 rounds. It has no external slide lock, and it has a new trigger design. Yeah, it's an internal slide lock and a new trigger design. So first of all, the big thing that I want to point out here is this gun will not be imported into the United States. It is not coming here from CZ currently. Now, whether they make it here or not once CZ begins their U.S. manufacturing operations, that's yet to be seen. But currently, it cannot be imported because it doesn't pass the points laws, like rules set up by the ATF. That's it, for importation of firearms. But it's 9mm, 7 rounds, newish trigger. So that's kind of the general outline. And as Pistol Pete has said, 7 rounds, boo. So that begs to question. First of all, my feedback on this is CZ dropped the ball. I think they're behind the curve. They came in under the bar significantly. The way the current U.S. market is, I don't think that there is a good spot because it's about as thick width-wise as a P365 and the Hellcat. I don't think there's a good spot in the U.S. market for a gun that size, the same size as the Hellcat and the P365, that only holds 7 rounds. I think it was a big mistake for CZ to not find a way to get 10 rounds into that. What do you guys think?
The goalposts have moved. I mean, I say it on every gun, but if they're not optics ready at this point, they're irrelevant. And you're releasing a plastic gun that's not optics ready. And I don't care how small it is. Like, just put the RMSC cut on it, the shield sight cut on it, and go on down the road. That's what you have to do now. Like, the P365 changed the game in the world of those pistols. And then the Hellcat furthered it even more to where the P365 had to update its offering with the Romeo Zero cuts on them. So, I mean, that's what you have to do now if you want to make a good gun. And the equivalent of not doing that is Mossberg coming out with a carry gun. Like, this is, for all intents and purposes, the same as the Mossberg carry gun.
Except magazines are more expensive.
Yeah, and magazines will be more expensive. And, you know, dudes who fillet their CZs at gun store counters will probably still buy them. But it's not, it's just not positioned well in the segment. And they can import it, so that's good news. But it was really disappointing, especially just keep it on CZ. A while back, CZ was making rumors that they were going to do an IPO to get better capitalized to expand further into the U.S. market where they release their financials. 48% of their revenues are from the U.S. market. And about 0% of their product offering is optimized for the U.S. market. It is all set up for Europe and military contracts. And effectively, their bread is buttered in the U.S. as much as it is in Europe. You'd think they would throw us a bone on some of this stuff, and they just don't.
And well, and I'm hoping that they do when they start up their U.S. manufacturing facility. But
they've got to. They have to.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to maintain a facility here and not cater a little bit. Jordan's pointing out that it's not come to the U.S. and we're making fun of it in the U.S. market. But as I said, I don't know the European market. So the U.S. market's the only thing I can compare to. I don't know. Like, I know in the Czech Republic they can get. Think they can get carry permits, but I don't know what the rules behind it are or anything like that. Like, I have no idea. But
so when this was first released or whatever, we sent it in a little group we have on Instagram, and we were kind of ragging on it a little that it only held 7 rounds. And Jordan was like, it's going to sell. And I got to thinking about that, and there's still a crap ton of shield selling. There's still a crap ton of regular 43 selling. There's still the Mossberg selling. There's still cars are still selling. And if it comes to the U.S. market, it will sell not only because it's a CZ, but if they drop it in at a price point that's $150 less than the 365, it's going to sell. And they are doing that with their P10Cs now. I mean, they're a whole lot less than a Glock or anything else. Not necessarily anything else. The APX is super cheap. But if they come in at the correct price point, it's going to sell, and it's going to sell fast. Or as fast as CZ can produce it.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, they're competing on price and not reputation or product validity. I mean, you just said, and Ruger has known this for years, if you build a gun cheap enough, people will buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's not, I don't know if that's where you necessarily want to be. I mean, if you look at the P365, those were $600 when they come out. What's a new P365 sell for now?
I have no idea.
Close to 5?
A P365, 5, yeah.
Yeah, right at 5. So, I mean, they were really making some money. Retailers were happy. SIG was real happy. People who didn't shoot the things were happy. I just don't see why you would come in. Like, CZ, to their credit, was really, really, really forward-thinking by dropping the P10C the way they did, making it fit Glock holsters and all that kind of stuff. Like, that was a really smart, savvy move. And it's a great gun, but the goalposts have moved significantly since they dropped the P10C, and I feel like they're just ignoring it.
Yeah, they're So with the new one, it'll sell, but if they bring it to the U.S. market, it'll sell, but it's not going to sell nearly as many as the other ones because it's not a proven thing. Again, in order to steal the majority of market share away from something, you've got to be as good, if not better, and proven to be that. And it's not. Really quick, going up to Jay Stu asks, when is the video on the X5 Legion coming? I just got it this past weekend. I've taken it out shooting once with some guys from work, and I generally don't film when I go out with them. With guys from work, because that's just weird. So I don't know. I'm going to try to get down to our outdoor range maybe this weekend. And I might get something recorded then. So are you going with me
this weekend?
Are you going with me if I go?
I mean, you have to pass my house.
It's true. I'll have Eli with me. We're going to shoot some bows and arrows too.
Nice.
So I figure I'll take him down. He can hang out in the car and play around on his tablet while I shoot. After we do bows and arrows, play a little Cowboys and Indians or something.
Nice. We can run the TAC Ultra versus the Legion.
Uh-oh. You're going to whoop me. That TAC Ultra does settle quicker.
If it runs, okay. She got dirty and she stopped working.
1,500 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't touch it. I oiled it once right when I got it, and that's it. That is all I did to that thing.
It was dry and it was dirty. I hit it with some oil when I got home, and it's running fine again.
Yep.
I got a piece of firearms news that's actually significant.
Go for
it. Sig Sauer won the patent infringement suit brought by Steyr Arms on the modular gun.
Oh, cool.
Didn't
Steyr do that first?
They did.
And they were suing Sig for patent.
Yeah, but they didn't sue them until they won the military contract.
Nice.
I don't know all of the insight from the ruling, but I just saw the headline that.
Yeah, that's questionable, shady timing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. You want to let them get. Sig had a press release, but they're saying it's not a violation of their intellectual property, so that's pretty good. I want to like Sig Sauer, y'all. I really do, and I think I would probably buy a Sig if I didn't have anything right now.
So Jay Stu says, interested to see how you like the Legion versus the P10F. I hope you give an honest opinion. Well, first of all, I always give honest opinions. Thanks, Builder.
You bet.
To be biased. So I had shot both of them. If you go back and look at our carry optics video, I'd shot both of them. And at the time, I did better with the P10F. That being said, I had thousands of rounds through the P10F, and I had less than 50 through the SIG, and the SIG was almost to the same point. And that's like we didn't test shoot before that. No, we did. We took.
I mean, I'm in the same boat with the Glock on the Rock Island right now. I still shoot my Glock better because I have thousands and thousands of rounds through it, and I am more comfortable with it. But the Rock Island will be faster, just like the Legion will be faster and better.
Yeah, that being, I may have done better with the P10F, but going out this last time, I can keep a faster cadence with my Legion running irons than I can with my P10F running a dot. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, but that's probably you over-aiming with the dot.
It might be, and we'll see once I get a dot on the Legion, but it settles more confidently. The front sight just tended to bounce less than I remember the F bouncing. Like it's obviously softer recoiling. It's a big heavy gun. It's got additional barrel weight. It's got barrel length. It's got additional weight, significantly additional weight. So humble, good work. So so far, like as much as I like the P10F, and I'll keep it. It'll just be transition from a gamer gun to a duty gun, I guess you would call it. But the Legion is just, it's hard to argue the value that you get with something like the Legion or a Shadow 2 or the Q5. Like when you're getting those price aside, when you buy those guns, they're just purpose built for what they're made for.
They're designed for competition.
Right. The P10F is a big duty gun. The Legion is a competition gun, or at least closer to it.
No, I'd say that I'd go on and say that it's a full-on competition gun. Man.
Yeah.
The amount of thinking that went into it, as far as like being able to change out the spring rates, being able to. The only thing I don't like is that the optics cut. They're trying to shoehorn into you. But
so, yeah.
For the most part, it's pretty squared away.
So speaking of the optics cut, this is a heads up to everybody. I talked to CNH in depth, and CNH is CNH Precision Weaponry is the company. They do a bunch of optics plates. They actually have one of the best optics plates for Glocks, and they've actually got a new line. It's a V4 that they're coming out with that has 3 different model lines in it. It's really cool stuff, and I'll have a video coming up on that. But we were talking about the optics cuts on the Legion. There are 3 different optics cuts on the Legion, and they were rolling changes, every single one of them. They didn't have a defined serial number break. So the only way to figure out which optic cut you've got is by basically taking a picture, sending it to them, or unless you know what they look like beforehand. Like it's kind of crappy the way that they did it, but
no, but that's why SIG does everything, man.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
Rolling generational changes.
SIG's notorious for that.
Yep. But that being said, all I did was I pulled my optics plate off, sent CNH a couple of pictures, and they got back to me the very next morning. I sent them out at like 10 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock the next morning, they had emailed me back, said, hey, got your pictures. You've got this optics cut. We've already got these. They're cut and being coated right now. So, I don't know if the optics plate is on its way, but it will be on its way very shortly if it's not. I think he said it could take up to 2 weeks, which is not a big deal. But yeah, if you're looking for an optics plate, guys, I highly recommend CNH, and you can use the coupon code Work the Trigger for free shipping. Hey, that's new. I just got that.
Humble, you run a CNH plate on your RMR, right?
Yeah, on my SRO. Yeah, I can recommend it. It's very nice. I'm amazed that they. I've tried to email them to play ball, but they have not. So I am a full price paying customer of CNH Precision.
Well, now you can get free shipping.
Does the Holosun fit on that? Everything. I mean,
it's supposed to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do have one version that the Holosun will not work on in their V4s, but when they come out with it, I'll talk about it, and you'll see why. So the V4s are pretty cool. Sorry, I'm just sitting here playing.
I'm switching to an MOS gun this year for a carry gun. So,
are you?
Well.
I didn't even know that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Yeah, the
45 or the 17.
Yep. 45. 45 with the comp.
Yeah.
Do it. Locke says Houston is running out of toilet paper. Why do people keep buying all the toilet paper and leaving everything else? I went to the grocery store on the way home today. All of the food is still there. They just are really concerned about wiping their butts. So, tactical toilet paper. Just quit. Yeah. See, Humble's got it. Just quit pooping. See, it's almost summer here, in which case, if you need, you can just go outside and do a makeshift bidet with the hose.
There was a question up there that probably is worth discussing a little bit.
Okay, give me just a sec to answer, Jeffries. Harry, and then we'll go to that. Harry, I got my coupon code on Monday. So I don't know where it was, but I got it on Monday. Okay, go for it, Humble. What's the question?
Thoughts on the 59-ounce CO rule, just a result of the Alien release, or do you think the SIG has a SF variant on the 320 in the future?
Okay, I mean, Humble, why don't you start with this one? Because I don't think you've done a video on it yet, have you?
And I doubt I will, just because it's such a small segment of my audience. But the STIG is going to be released with a steel frame version. Somebody replied to my status update that they're in some country where like ruples or something's the currency. I didn't know what it was. But they were the equivalent of $2,000 US for a steel frame 320.
2,000?
And
oof.
I mean, that's
which is
Q5
a tough
match
sell.
price. No,
Q5 match 1600.
That's X5 price. I mean, you can buy a real X5 for that money, but and I don't mean X5 Legion. I mean like
no,
the 226 X5s. Yeah. And as far as 59 ounces, I think they really wanted to just do away with it because ultimately, from what I can tell, this is me reading between the lines to reading the board minutes. The problem with the old production rules is that nobody was enforcing them, and it was getting too hard to enforce because, I mean, a Cajun hammer doesn't look all that different from a, CZ custom hammer, which is legal if you don't know what you're looking at. And so the problem is, like, the rules weren't getting enforced. So if nobody's enforcing the rules, then there aren't any rules. So I think that they realized they'd probably get too much crap if they just completely eliminated the weight limit. So they decided to sidestep it by raising it arbitrarily high to the point that nobody can really ever get to the limit. And if they do, I think it'd be hurting them more than it'd be helping them because it's just a 9mm, guys. I think getting into the 40-ounce range with a gun is probably enough to tame it. Anything much more than that, and you're just giving up transition speed. I don't think you're getting anything. Yeah, your draw speed and your transition speed you're going to have to struggle to keep that flat. Like, I personally wouldn't want to go any heavier than about 40 ounces, plus or minus. That is a sweet spot for a 9mm.
The Legion's 43.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yep.
TAC Ultra's 48, and it is very noticeable how heavy it is. It's
on a 40, you're going to love that, but on a 9, there's just no point.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't recoil. Like, it recoils really light. It just doesn't recoil.
It's silly. Like, if you watch our TAC Ultra first shots video, builders laugh at the beginning of that was legitimate.
It's giggly.
It is. But yeah, it's there comes a point when there is too heavy of a gun. The whole thing about gamer shooting is you have to be able to move, right?
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to bug out. My dinner did not settle very well.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So
have fun.
That or I keep muting.
It's coronavirus.
It is
Oh
coronavirus.
no, I got the kung flu.
Just make sure that you're
the Wu flu.
Being very careful about how much TP you use.
Uh-huh.
All right. I'll
see you guys.
Bye.
Serious business.
Whew. Things just got really serious. Uh-oh, you're uncentered. Nope, wrong way. There you go.
You changed the game on me there. Oh man, my face is all big now. Let's get that.
It could be worse.
A little more comfortable there. So the weight limit, in my opinion, is completely arbitrary at this point.
Yeah.
If you got it to 59 ounces, more power to you, man. I mean,
the thing that frustrates me. Yeah, good.
I was gonna say Nils is gonna beat everybody with his damn Canic anyway. So y'all infuse your frames with tungsten, and Nils is still gonna beat you with a $400 plastic gun.
Hey, I love my tungsten frame. You do. Hey, if you weren't running Glocks, you'd have a tungsten frame too.
I would. But I mean, that's more because they get so much right out of the box that you don't have to really mess with it all that much. And it's really easy to shoot accurately. That was the one thing that really sticks with me from shooting.
It is.
Shooting it fast, it's not any different from my Glocks, but my ability to eke out extreme accuracy at extreme distance was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's easy to shoot accurately.
I was very impressed with that. It's for irons. Again, I'm not the best shot. For irons, I was extremely accurate. Now they're shooting a little low. They're shooting about 2 inches low at 10 yards, but they're adjustable sights. The only reason I didn't adjust them is because they're not staying on there. But I mean, it was, I blasted out a good size, like a hole in the target.
Manny had a point about the 59 ounce.
Yep.
He asked about IPSC in the World Shoot. IPSC is fanatical about enforcing their production rules, which production optics is an offset of production. So before you even get to shoot the match, you have to hand your gun over to armorers to be inspected, and they go over a lot of it. And you can get away with like spring changes, even though you're not supposed to. Like, that's okay. But I mean, they're going to weigh it. They're going to gauge your mags. They're going to give it a big once over. They do work with you to allow you to modify the gun to make it legal, in so much as like this trigger pull weight's too light. You need to make it heavier. They'll let you, put a new spring in to make it heavier. But I mean, yeah, the World Shoot, they take it. I mean, IPSC in general at the major matches. So I hear. I've never been to Europe and shot one. They take it very seriously. And the difference between Europe and America in that regard is that we're a complete volunteer sport. And in Europe, it's basically something only the elites do. Like it's the equivalent in the US as if we were to play like polo. Only people who are like rich AF play polo. Well, that's what IPSC is in Europe. So, I mean, we're kind of more of a NASCAR crowd to their upper crust stuff. So there's a lot of guys with a lot of money and enough time to make sure everyone's playing by the same rules. And we just haven't found that level of, we could not find that level of enthusiasm. So.
So really quick, thanks goes out to Locke for his $10 super chat, despite not actually having a chat attached to it. And apparently it's for TP.
Send that man a roll of toilet paper.
Yep. Yeah. Toilet paper for everybody.
The trigger toilet paper.
Kathleen says the X5 Legion is really accurate. Yeah, it really is. Now, that being said, I'm not calling other guns inaccurate necessarily. Like CZs are notoriously accurate. The P10F, one of the first times I took it out with the dot, I had three rounds from 25 yards within about an inch and a half of each other. But the SIG is just easier to be that accurate with. Like I didn't have to pay, well, and I mean, I've shot a lot since I did that with the P10F, but I didn't feel like I had to pay quite as much attention to the fundamentals. Like it fit my hand a little bit better. The trigger was, I think a big part of that for me is the flat face trigger. The trigger shape is just
it's the
really
grip,
nice.
The grip shape too.
It is that too.
Forces your hand to fall on the trigger. It's just right where it needs to be. And there's not that much trigger movement. So it's really easy to pull straight back. I mean, I was shooting the Legion as accurately as my Glocks within like 50 rounds. It was like after I had that thing zeroed, I could do anything I could do with my Glocks with the Legion. And it was, I know if I spent more time with it, I could shoot it more accurately than my Glocks. It's really well set up. They designed it very well. It is a very good design.
Yep. So Gray Note says, does the trigger bother you? The trigger on the Legion?
Oh, it sucks out of the box. It's not great.
So yeah, it's not great out of the box. It's spongy. It's got a long reset. It's squishy. It's not as bad as the one that I ran on our Carry Optics shoot, but it's still not great. But I've got a Gray Guns trigger that's getting ready to go in. So, and I shot the old version of the Gray Guns trigger, and it's pretty damn good. So I mean, really the only time the trigger press matters to me is on long, very precise shots anyway. But other than that, you're just trigger slapping. But I'm looking forward to it. It's not, as we were just saying, it doesn't lend itself to inaccuracy. To me, the trigger pull lends itself to lack of speed because I short stroked it a couple of times, or once this last time, and I short stroked the first one we did twice. So and it's because I wasn't used to it. I would probably do it less if I was more used to it, but the newer one will have a shorter reset. It'll have a little bit crisper, light. It'll be a little bit lighter. So
just yours have the most anemic reset you can imagine, because all of the X5 Legions that I've handled have had just this laughable reset that it's just like, it's reset.
No, it's not bad. It's better than an M&P.
All right. Harry brought up something in the chat, and I want you to take a guess on it. I'm going to take a guess on it, and then he's going to tell us.
Okay, where is he? Where are we looking?
How many guns did Infinity produce? I think it was in 2018. 2018. Strayervoort Infinity. How many?
375.
375. That's low.
I know. I have no idea.
Gray Note is guessing 600.
Okay.
Manny's guessing 2,000. I said 3,500.
Okay.
All right. Now, if Harry's not here, we got a 200 on lock, a 1,200 from Big Johnson Guns and Gear, 550 from Jordan Lynchide, which he can't keep his Persec squared away with his username. He's totally just letting the cat out of the bag, but whatever. And now, Harry, you need to pay this off. We may have to come back for this. I'll keep an eye on it. We got a couple more. I got a 750S.
750.
So the winner gets to work the trigger roll of toilet paper.
I've got stickers in here somewhere. I got work the trigger stickers.
Put a sticker on a travel size hand sanitizer and send that out to the winner.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes me sad is I got
432 is the answer.
I guessed 375. Okay, 375 is pretty. Actually,
well, let's see if anybody got you. Let's see if anybody got your Price is Right rules.
No. Oh well, I went. No, I got it.
I think you won. You send yourself a prize. Work.
I get a Hollerson sticker.
That's pretty cool.
I'm super sad that I can't give these away at NRAM, dude. I was planning
one to Lock. He just sent you $10.
That's a good point. He deserves one. I was planning on going up to the Hollerson booth and wearing my Hollerson or hat.
Guessed 431. That's what he says anyway.
Well, but did he just guess that now?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, you jackwagon. But I was planning on going up to the Hollerson booth, wearing my Hollerson hat, and giving them Hollerson stickers. That was going to happen, and now I'm just sad. That's the main reason that I'm sad about NRAM being canceled.
It's a shame.
It is.
We were going to be legitimate YouTubers.
We were. Dude, I was kind of pumped about it.
And maybe next year, if there's a SHOT Show, if we survive the flu.
Yeah. Well, the next...
I can't believe that civilization's being brought to its knees by some assholes eating bats.
Is that what they said it was?
That's what started it. Yeah, it mutated from a pangolin, which is like this crazy looking armadillo thing.
Oh, yeah.
Into a bat, and then because assholes eat bats.
Why do people eat weird shit? Wasn't monkey brains one of them at some point too? That somebody got something from that. Okay, Kathleen is going to kill me if I don't talk about the night vision front sight that I put on my my PO1.
And I'm gonna kill you if you do.
So it's awesome. I freaking love it. I would like it to be a little bit narrower, but I can let that go because I mean I kind of fudged together these sights, but I freaking love it. The night vision, the coloring on the front sight is fantastic. It really pulls your eye to it. And with that CZ rear, which is predominantly blacked out, it's super easy to get a nice, easy sight picture on it. So I love it. I think, and honestly, I think they should start marketing that for CZ75s because all it takes is drilling out that center groove, which isn't a big deal. You can do it with a hand drill. And CZ Custom, who makes specifically CZ stuff, sends out sights that you have to drill that on. So Big Johnson says thin fiber. Humble agrees with you. I'm just not a thin fiber person. I like a bigger dot in the front. Now, as far as tritium goes, I couldn't give two craps less. But I just like the bigger dots up front.
I like red dots. Because this isn't the 2000s anymore.
That's true. If the PO1 could run a red dot and actually look good, then it would. And it might do with the 507K, but that's a little bit of a ways off because I blew all my money on a SIG. Freaking Germans.
Do you have a gun that can accept a 507K?
Not.
You're going to get one of your CCs milled.
Yeah, I was going to get my PO1 milled. I've talked to Primary Machine about it already, and they were like, "Yeah, we're down." They think that it'll work without a conversion plate, which is my main goal. I want to get it on there without a conversion, like without an adapter plate, to be able to direct mount onto the slide. So
Jordan's got his favorite night sights.
What are they?
True Glow TFX Pros because they raise works blood pressure.
You son of a bitch. See,
oh, man.
Big Johnson says fire for effect are killing PO1 and killing it. I'm lost there.
Milling PO1 milling, okay. And killing it.
I wonder what. What
he got auto corrected. iPhones don't like you to use milling. Every time I use it, it tries to change it to something else. Killing is one of the things it changes
nice.
To.
Autocorrect stories. I told my wife one time that I had put the dog in the cage, and my phone autocorrected cage to acid. So I had put my dog in the acid. So that was an interesting day.
Yeah.
I just sent it and forgot about it. And she saw it a couple hours later at work and she was like, what? So.
Jordan mentions that Fire for Effect has proprietary milling for CZs, which is great. And I've handled 2 guns now from Fire for Effect that have been milled. If you're getting an SRO, they've got a really good cut for it.
Mm-hmm.
Big Johnson's got one. His Space Blaster looking one is from Fire for Effect. And another gentleman locally did this crazy like hexagon orange scheme. And I got to shoot with him last weekend. And that gun is also very, very nice, but they really sink that dot down on there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not beholden to anybody as far as like cuts and stuff goes, but dang, that is low. Oh, what is that down below the? Is that a new retention system for the firing pin?
They mill in these little these little posts.
It's a screw-in tab.
Yeah, that keep it down. So they sink the thing down so that the dot will co-witness with your iron sight.
That's awesome.
It's really well done.
Wow, and
they do really good work.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call them.
So yeah, I can
heartily
endorse the Fire for Effect. It costs an arm and a leg to get a Shadow 2 milled like that.
Yeah, but I'm not doing a Shadow 2. I'm doing a PO1. Because I don't have a Shadow 2, and at this point, I don't really want a Shadow 2.
For what you're doing, I don't think there's a point.
It just cost me more money to get to the same point. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, yes, Big Johnson. We know they've done 3 of yours. You, I enjoy you showing them off. I like looking at them.
Yeah, that man has he's put all his guns on a diet in the past year. They've all gotten chopped up.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got milled out to lose some weight. Now they didn't need to.
It's not a good topic, but it is related to our chosen hobby here.
Yeah.
You see your boy Biden going in the union plant, yelling at the dude in the beard, threatening to fight him.
Oh man, he is
take away his AR-14s.
He is going off the deep end.
That's I have not seen him off script. Like when I think of him, I always just think of his gaffes when he's in front of a teleprompter and in front of a crowd and cameras, and he's got his makeup and all that stuff. But seeing him in that light where he's talking about an AR-14, I was just like, this is really dangerous that we're trying to give this man the keys to power, and he's this senile. This is bad.
Yeah, Trump's a dick, I'm not sure that
he has all of his mental faculties about him, however.
Yes, yeah. And Biden's he's losing it. And it's worrying me a little bit. Well, and the thing that I think is hilarious,
without makeup and studio lighting, he looks like he's about to die.
Does he?
Yeah.
The thing I think is hilarious is so all the Bernie supporters obviously hate Biden because he's not Bernie.
Because he's establishment,
But guarantee when Biden wins the nomination, all of them are going to be like, oh, we're going to have to vote for Biden, even though they've been
I bet a bunch of them defect to Trump, honestly. I bet there's a bunch of protest votes. Heck yeah.
I don't know.
There was some last time. There was a big contingent that did it last time, but
he says that union worker was actually awarded an AR-14 from a gun shop in Michigan. That's awesome.
Good. So not to get political because politics is boring, but I thought it was really amusing that a nearly 80-year-old man threatened to fight a union auto worker about guns.
He challenged somebody to a push-up contest in a different one. He's like, "Oh, you want to drop down right now and do some push-ups?"
It's like, that's pretty funny. I mean, that's fine with that's character. That's good.
Oh man, what is it lately?
Loudner saying Austin Peterson for president, and I would heartily endorse that as well.
Yeah, he challenged a fat guy to. Yeah, and then I forgot which guy it was. He referred to him just as fat. Like he didn't say you're fat. He didn't make a fat joke, he put fat in where you would say someone's name. He was like, "Oh yeah, okay, sit down, fat." And it's like, what? He's just, hey, fat. It was awesome. He's like as meme worthy as Biden was before when he was with Obama. Like, still some of my favorite memes are the Biden Obama memes where Biden just says like the most outlandish crap, and Obama said like the voice of reason. But yeah, like it's getting to the point now where he's becoming a meme for a completely different reason.
Yeah, I'm trolling through the Truth About Guns to see if there was anything particularly noteworthy.
So yeah, John Jeffries says PSA has a stripped lower Angry Joe. It's an AR-14 that they posted on their site, and they had, instead of like fire and safe, they had little quotes from his
really?
steps. Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, great in a like trolling way, not great in an anyone should ever buy this way. Let me see if I can find it really
funny. It's amazing how they can crank out those meme guns like immediately. It's like somebody does something somewhere and there's an AR-15 lower the next day that celebrates it.
Okay, so on the left side of the gun, safe is what'd he say? Fire is dog face pony soldier, and full auto and full auto is full of shit. Let me see if I can find the other side of this thing. That dog face pony soldier one was pretty good. So on the other side of the firearm, it has, oh come on. Now it's trying to print this. I don't want to.
There's a bad lip reading of a Joe Biden campaign ad on
Oh, that's got to be great.
You need to watch it. It's really funny. Like, he says something in the video over and over again that they translate to Nathaniel. Just keep doing it.
I love those bad lip reading things. Those things are great.
Dog face pony soldier.
Dog face pony soldier. So yeah, I mean, I really, and I think they're on sale for like $40. They're selling those things, and I'm pretty sure there's something like 40. I mean, they better be $40. It is PSA. But still, $40.
That's really funny, though. I mean, that makes me want to open up my wallet for one, just in case.
Exactly.
Just in case he actually gets elected, that I could build it into a rifle and be like, "Here, this one's for you, Joe."
Yep.
You'd
have to get like the cheapest internals and barrel and stuff for it, like a.
It'd come from PSA. 100%, it would.
Right. Yeah.
It would be a complete PSA gun. So.
Yeah, Jeremy, I know there's more on the other side, but I couldn't find a picture of it. So if you guys can find what's on the other side of that thing, post it down in the comments for me.
I hate election years because, like, reading the Truth About Gun, every single post is about politics. Every single one.
Yep. I know.
It's like randomly a review.
And I have the inability to ignore all of them. I try my best to ignore them. But every once in a while, I had a guy today advocating for social medicine again. And so I posted up that Italy had told its medical providers to stop caring for the elderly. They're like, just don't worry about them. And it's like, oh, hey, I mean, that's what happens when the government controls your healthcare unilaterally. But then that went on for a while and went downhill, and he called me dumb, and it degraded very quickly. So I gave up. Uh-oh. Jordan is challenging us to an AR build contest. What's the criteria for this AR build contest? I don't think couples built an AR. Huh?
I haven't. No.
See? It's a good project. Of course, we can't
not interesting to me.
We can't post it on YouTube, so.
Yeah. Can't even take guns apart on YouTube. They hate that shit.
Okay, so Jeremy found the stuff on the other side. So safe is memory loss. Fire is dementia, and full auto is liberal. The application of lead liberally. I like that. Oh, Loudner's heading out. Have a good night, man. I'll catch you later.
All right, guys.
Let's see. Socialized medicine does equal slavery. I liked Rand Paul's rant on that. Okay, so Jordan says, must be fully assembled by you.
No pre-built uppers or anything. Full 16-inch barrel. Goal is as cheap as possible.
How cheap can you build an AR? If it's like less than $200, I'm in.
No, I could build one for under $450 pretty easily.
That's not interesting. That's too much money.
Right? That's a lot of ammo.
That's like my appetite for a meme gun is about $200. That's about it.
That's fair, actually. Kathleen says, why are you not voting for Bernie? Because Bernie would advocate for you not getting medical care. Let's see. Okay, winner is the guy who can get 500 rounds of toolless steel to function reliably on the lowest cost. I could. Okay. Yeah, but what do we win, Jordan? What do we win? And yes, you can. Like I guess you could build one for that pretty easily. So my first build was sub 500, and it's got like a 15-inch handguard. And shoot, if you stuck with like just the base model furniture, like the lowest end piece of junk, I don't think that'd be too hard.
Rattle can it a different color. Go get some Krylon.
Hells to the yeah. Hey, okay. Here's the question, Jordan. Can we use components we already own?
No.
Damn it. We have to buy a completely new son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. So Sean Hooper says, any clue what could take an 1/8-inch chunk out of the inside top of his CZP01 slide? Slide froze while shooting. Took it to a gunsmith who had to put it in a vise to yank it free, and no idea what caused it. Where is this chunk? Is it like up above where the barrel is? Is it back in the around the firing pin area? Where is this chunk that's missing? So answer that and we'll get back to it. Jordan says
I'm thinking about that. The only thing is if there was a void in the metal that got vibrated loose is the only thing I could think of why it would do it.
Yeah.
If it was the frame, and I mean they use cast frames, and there's plenty of voids in CZ frames, so that would make sense. But I've still never heard of a chunk coming off of one. Like the early Shadow 2s will crack in the frame.
Yeah, they get cracks, and they still work though.
Yeah, they'll replace the frame if it cracks, even if it's outside of warranty. If you have one of the early ones, they'll just replace it. So they're doing it right. But near the firing pin,
a plasma cutter. That's fair. That's fair. A plasma cutter would get a 1/2-inch chunk out near the firing pin. Ooh,
like on the breech face or underneath.
Yeah, is it that? Does anybody know the technical term of the section of a hammer fired gun on the bottom side of the slide that actually rides against the hammer? You know, they've got that valve, that channel down underneath that actually rides it. That's got to have a technical name, right?
Yeah, I have no idea what it is. It's interesting. I never even thought about it.
I haven't either until like just.
I never put 2 and 2 together. That was a channel that hammer.
Yeah, yeah. Now I don't know if it's a byproduct of like, hey, we've got material here, but if you polish that up, it'll actually make your slide cycle smoother.
I polished the rails on my CZ75. I polished the rails in both the slide and the frame. And it is very smooth cycling. It is really nice to shoot. So on my, I don't remember which one it was now. One of my CZs, I took polishing compound and put just a little dab of polishing compound in a couple of different spaces on the rails and just ran it. And that thing is glass smooth now. Because, I mean, polishing compound is so thin. It's nice. You fire fit it.
Basically, very quickly. Gray notes. All right. On a 1911, isn't it called a Marvel cut? Is that part called a Marvel cut? I don't know. Let's find out really quick.
To the Google box.
Marvel cut. Yes. So the Marvel cut on the 1911 is a cut on this piece of metal that I'm talking about that is slightly indented. Now, I'm guessing that's so that you're not, because when you're, another thing that makes CZs run smoother is if you break that edge back there, because you're rolling the hammer past it rather than shoving the hammer past it. And it looks like that's what a Marvel cut is a small groove that's made to let the hammer roll past this portion of the slide.
That's, you were thinking about 2011s earlier?
Yeah.
Like when you actually tune the springs, you have to tune the hammer spring, the recoil spring, and the stop plate on the firing pin. Like the profile of that all has to be in harmony for them to run well.
Huh. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy.
But yeah, I don't know what it's called. But a Marvel cut is a cut that's on this part that I'm trying to figure out the name of.
It's not that exciting.
No, not really. I nerd out on technical stuff like that. Everything's got a name, right? Something.
It does.
I don't know.
It's true.
Kathleen says she can imagine me sitting with his just racking my slide constantly for hours. It actually didn't take hours. It only took about 5 minutes. With polishing compound in there, it was like 5 micron polishing compound, which is relatively fine polishing compound. Doesn't take any time. I mean, you're running, that's like a 10,000 grit sandpaper or so in there. So it's really smooth and it's automatically wet. So disconnector ramp. Is that what it is? I would think
PO1 doesn't have a disconnect. Well, I guess it does have a disconnector, but it doesn't. The disconnector on a PO1 doesn't come close to touching the slide.
No, it's down underneath the sear assembly at the very bottom.
It hooks the trigger bow.
Right. It's funny because we're probably one of the only live chats that's had CZs apart enough to know exactly where those parts are. I can get a CZ down to the frame and back together, a 75 down to the frame and back together in under an hour at this point. And polished. No, it takes me a little longer to polish it, but it goes pretty quick.
Meanwhile, I can field strip a Glock and put it back together between shooters at a match. Or take it all the way down to pins and springs. I can back together.
I think my SIG has 1 pin holding it together. Oh no, it's not even 1 pin. It's the slide release or the
slide release has the housing worked out, but then there's parts inside that you would need to
correct. And I'm gonna have to.
It's still pretty good.
I'm gonna have to take all of that apart because this trigger kit replaces a bunch of springs and internals, and I'm gonna polish the. I haven't seen anybody do it, but I'm going to polish the trigger bar too while I'm in there. I figure I might as well, right? I like polishing stuff.
Well,
coming from the CZ world, that's what you do. You polish stuff. All right. Well, I think things are slowing down and I'm getting tired and I got to go to work in the morning. So
I need to sleep so I don't get coronavirus.
That's true. Of course, it's only 9:58 there.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I wake up early, so
that's true as well. What time do you wake up?
5.
Okay, so we actually wake up at the same time. Like, because I wake up at 6. So it's actually the actual same time. 1911s can be stripped down and assembled even more quickly. Grip screws probably take the most time. 1911s, they're not difficult, but man, that sear assembly in the back, like trying to get those things on the pin without them falling out of the gun just drives me insane. I only did it a couple of times though, so. All right, guys. Well, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. Humble, where can they find you?
They can find me here on YouTube or Instagram. And if you do Facebook, then I'm there too. But I don't really do anything on Facebook.
Unfortunately, they can't find us at NRAM.
Not NRAM.
I am still super bummed about this.
Yeah. Sad.
And I'm going to have to figure out something else to do big. Because NRAM's always fun to get video fodder for too. So, I don't know. I'll figure something out. I got invited to go shoot body armor this weekend. Yeah. I don't know what that entails, but hey.
Pretty good.
Jordan says I should have an easy time reassembling a 1911 with my tiny baby hands. But yeah. Oh man, Grey Note had 5 days off for that. I only had one. We were only going to be down there a day, but I'm still bummed about it. Well, anyway, thank you everybody for hanging out with us in the chat for a while. It's been a fun night. Talked a lot of crap about a lot of different things. So with that, thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Take care, guys. Peace.